guys! Today I'm going to be making a video about how to make a sentence negative. So if you haven't yet, first please go watch Avina's video about how to conjugate ser, and then our videos from a week ago about how to conjugate in the present tense. And then after that, you come and watch this video and I'll teach you how to make a sentence negative and where to put the no in the sentences. Hi guys, so today we're going to talk about making sentences negative. So my first sentence here is me gusta estudiar, which translates to I like to study. My second sentence is yo leo mi libro de texto, which is I read my textbook. So now let's make these into a sentence that represents a student that maybe isn't so scholarly. So instead of I like to study, me gusta estudiar, we want to say I don't like to study. So to do this, we're going to say no me gusta estudiar. So we put the no in front of our verb of gustar. And now for I read my textbook, we want to say I don't read my textbook. So to put that into our sentence, we're going to say yo no leo mi libro de texto. So you have to notice how in both of these sentences, we have, here's our verb, gusta, and leo, our conjugated verbs. And then our subject is yo, and in this case it's me. And our no, to make the sentence negative, goes in front of the verb in both cases. Now for this one here, the yo no leo, this is going to be the formula that you want to use for most of your sentences. For gustar, you want to use this formula of the no me gusta. So these are the two orders that you guys need to keep in mind when you're making sentences negative. So here is that formula for writing sentences simplified down. So I have my subject and then no, and then my verb, and then the rest of the sentence. So now this would look like if I want to write I don't drink the soda. I would say yo, which is my subject, no, which is my no verb, and then bebo, which is my verb, and then the rest of my sentence, la fresca. So then notice here I have my subject, I'll color code that in green, yo, my negative word, no, and then my verb, bebo. So this is pretty similar to English, because if I would say it in English, I would say I don't drink the soda, or just soda. So now in English, I have my subject, I, and then my word to make it negative, don't, or do not, or not, or whatever you want to use. I don't drink is my verb, and then the soda is the rest of my sentence. So it's the same kind of order as in English, where you have subject, negative word, and your verb. It's just that in Spanish, your negative word that you're going to use is no. It won't be do not, or not, or something like that. Alright, so now it's your guys' turn to practice. So I have the conjugations for ser, and then the AR, ER, and IR regular endings over on the left there to help you guys. And using those, and using what we just learned about how to make a sentence negative, I want you guys to translate these 4 sentences into negative sentences. So pause the video and write down the answers, and then when you play the video again, I'll have the answers up and then we can talk about them. So I'll pause the video right now, and then when you come back, I'll have the answers ready. Alright, so here are those answers. I am not mean translates to yo no soy antipatica. So we have our am not, or just our not here, and that corresponds to yo no soy. So, and then the subject for both is I and yo, and then soy is our verb, which corresponds to am in that first sentence. So as you can see, there's a little bit of out of order when you use soy. So in English, there's an exception where you say I am not mean. You wouldn't say I not am mean. But in Spanish, you still would say yo no soy antipatica. And also, just an extra thing to point out, I said antipatica because I am a girl, so yo, or I, would be feminine, and that's why I use the feminine ending of antipatica. But if you're a boy, you should say yo no soy antipatico. and we'll get into concordancia and all that in another lesson. So now moving on to the next sentence, I have he doesn't run is él no corre. So now first we can look at corre is the L form of correr, which is an ER. So we use the L form that we have in that 6 box down there. And now to make it negative, I have the subject L or he, and then no is does not or doesn't or not or whatever. And then the verb run is corre. So then this one, instead of how we said I am not in the first sentence, doesn't really follow the same rule. When you're not using soy or ser or to be, then it does follow the same rule. So it's he doesn't run is the same order as él no corre. So now for this next sentence, I have we hate swimming. And that sounds like it's a negative sentence because it uses the word hate. But because there's no not in it, this is technically not a negative sentence. So what you should have is nos choca nadar. So a little bit of a trick question there. So because we have our subject is we, which corresponds to nos, and then choca and hate are our verbs, and then swimming or nadar, that's the rest of the sentence. And notice how in the sentence in English, I didn't highlight anything for my negative word to make the verb negative. So that means that when I translate it to Spanish, I shouldn't have any other negative verb either. So I could have said we don't like swimming, and that would be a negative sentence because it's saying we don't like. No gusta, which would make it negative. But because it's just we hate swimming or nos choca nadar, it's not technically a negative sentence, so you don't need that no in there. So if you had nos no choca nadar, that reads we don't hate swimming, and that wouldn't be fitting with what we wrote in English. So now for this last sentence, we have they can't play. So they is eos, and then can't, I actually use a conjunction here, so cannot, so I'll highlight that NT there, that stands for not. And then the can part is our pueden, and then play translates to either, if you're talking about playing a game or sport, you have jugar. If you're talking about playing an instrument, you have tocar. So either one is fine. But for this one, it follows, because of this can't conjunction here, you have to split it up. So they cannot play would be ellos no pueden jugar tocar. So now this one is a different order, like how we were talking about at the first one when we said yo no soy, where instead of following the same order as English, you have to follow the order of the formula that we talked about before. So you still have to put that no before the pueden, or the verb in this case, even though it doesn't fit with what we normally do in English. So now here is that formula one last time if you want to take a screenshot or something, or save it however you want to, and keep practicing with it. And I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Next week, Avina and I are going to talk about, now that we know how to use ser and how to make a sentence negative, we're going to build on that, and we're going to talk about when to use ser versus when to use a star. So tune in next week, Tuesday, for our video about ser versus a star. Thanks for watching!